Gentleman yields back. Ms. Demings.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Barr, during your, over here.
I'm sorry.
Over here in the corner. Earlier during your testimony, you talked about gun violence and you asked the question, what about those lives? And yes, Mr. Barr, those lives do matter. But do you believe that police officers should be held or held to a higher standard?
Yes, and you know, someone mentioned my comment about we shouldn't permit resistance. We shouldn't take that as a matter of course, but I never suggest that just because someone resists, that justifies whatever's done.
Thank you so much for that, because good police officers also believe that they're held to a higher standard. So I'm glad to hear you say that. As a former police detective, I've solved many cases based on patterns of behavior, and there is an alarming pattern, I believe, that's developing. It appears, Mr. Barr, every time a U.S. attorney investigates the president or those close to him, he or she is removed and replaced by one of your friends. You have removed U.S. attorneys in the Eastern District of New York, the District of Columbia, and the Eastern District of Texas. On June 19th, you announced Mr. Berman would be stepping down. Now, let me just be clear. When you told America that Mr. Berman was stepping down, did Mr. Berman tell you he was stepping down?
No.
Okay.
But stepping down is the language that I'm told.
He did not tell you that.
No.
Okay,
but it's the language we usually use to leave flexibility as to whether the person is doing it on their own.
On June 20th, when asked about the basis for Mr. Berman's removal, on the very day you announced he was being fired, stepping down, the president's personal attorney, Mr. Giuliani, suggested that, and I quote, "The reason may lie in the fact that Berman's office got involved in what Giuliani described as baseless investigations." Sir, if that wasn't true, if you didn't remove Mr. Berman because he was overseeing investigations of the president and those close to him, why would the president's personal attorney think that?
I'm sorry, what did he say and when? I didn't hear the quote.
Mr. Giuliani suggests that...
When?
June 20th. June 20th. That he may have been fired because he was investigating baseless investigations.
Well, if he said that, that's nonsense. Number one, anyone familiar with the Department of Justice would say that removing a component head is not going to have any effect on any pending investigation.
Okay, and I know you're aware of reports that Berman's office was in fact investigating the president's former personal attorney, Mr. Cohen, his current personal attorney, Mr. Giuliani, his current personal attorney's associates, and his presidential inauguration. Well, Mr. Barr,
I don't mean to suggest just by my silence that I'm confirming that. That seems to be your opinion.
Okay, all right. Have you in any way attempted to influence or interfere with any investigation in the Southern District, including the investigations I just mentioned?
I've not interfered in any investigation. I've raised questions on occasion about certain matters, but as far as I'm aware, the office was satisfied with the resolution. Your efforts
to remove him bypassed the normal operation of law. Now we know the OLC opinion indicates that a sitting president cannot be indicted or criminally prosecuted, because you made sure President Trump understood that in your 19-page or however long job application. However, you are aware the special counsel confirmed that a sitting president can be investigated. You did read that in the special counsel's report. Is that correct?
Yes.
Given Mr. Trump's residence and former business location, the Southern District, Berman's office would have decision-making authority over whether to investigate the president himself, and you removed him.
I've explained why I removed him.
Okay, sitting here today under penalty of perjury, do you still maintain, as you stated in a February 13th interview, that the president has never asked you to do anything in a criminal case? Yes or no, please?
Yeah, no. I mean, will I confirm it? Is that the question?
Or do you stand by your testimony or your...
He has never asked me, directed me, pressured me to do anything in a criminal case.
Okay, all right. You are aware, and I think you had this conversation earlier with one of my colleagues, that the president's former attorney, Mr. Cohen, was released early from prison due to concerns of COVID-19.
Yes.
Okay. And why did you support the decision to send Mr. Cohen back to prison?
I didn't even know the decision to send him back.
Did you support it based after you?
Well, I haven't looked into it enough, but
Gentlewoman's
my
time
understanding of
has
why it
expired.
happened was,
Mr. Barr, as a former,
The gentlewoman's
Police
time
chief.
has expired.
the president has made a mockery of the Department of Justice, and I believe as the nation's top cop, no one should care more about that than you.
the Bureau of Prisons
Mr. Armstrong
Chairwoman,
is
I yield back. Thank you.
recognized.